How's it going, everyone? My name is Bertimus, and welcome back to Tabs Madness. Now, in this particular episode, we'll be looking at both the Spooky and the Wild West faction, the newest one of the bunch, to see who is going to reign supreme and move on to the final set of matches. Our matchups are all set for the Spooky faction. Let's see who reigns supreme in 1v1 action, but I think this one may be a little, let's just say solved already, but you know what? Let's find out. Our first matchup in the Spooky faction bracket starts us off with our number 4 seed, the Vampire, coming in at 200 points, versus our number 5 seed, the Candlehead, also coming in at 200 points. Evenly matched point-wise. Will they be evenly matched when it comes down to 1v1 battle? The Vampire immediately transforms into a bat to close the distance between him and the Candlehead, starts to suck the life force out of the Candlehead, and it's all said and done. Vampire moves on to the next round of matches for the Spooky faction bracket. Our next matchup starts us off with our number 2 seed, the Swordcaster, coming in at 1,000 points. Versus our number 7 seed, the Skeleton Warrior, coming in at, again, 200 points. Now, I don't know if he has it in him to take down the Swordcaster, but we're going to find out. Now, the biggest thing with the Swordcaster as he moves in is that he is able to control those swords to each attack independently. Will that be enough DPS to take down the Skeleton Warrior before he's able to do anything effectively? That shield is putting in a lot of work, but unfortunately did not cover enough of his bony body. Swordcaster moves on to the next set of matches. Our next matchup starts us off with our number 3 seed, the Pumpkin Thrower, coming in again at 1,000 points, versus our number 6 seed, the Skeleton Archer, coming in at 180 points, slightly lower than the Warrior, does have flaming arrows, both their ranged units. Let's see what happens. Now, the big thing with the Pumpkin Thrower is that pumpkin is also explosive. That could be instantly deadly for the Skeleton Archer if he gets hit by it. Looks like he wound up missing though, and now the catapult is on fire. Will that be a big factor for this? I'm not entirely sure. No, it is not. The Pumpkin Thrower missed the first couple of volleys, but once that was settled and got his aim correct, he secured his place in the next round of matches. Our next matchup is our winner from the first match, the Vampire, versus our number 1 seed for the Spooky faction bracket, the Reaper, coming in at 2,500 points, and arguably one of the most destructive units as far as big armies go because of those tentacles. Now, interestingly, there's the Vampire going into his bat mode to get in close enough, and the Reaper instantly takes him out. Now, I have a feeling the Reaper is going to sweep it for this bracket, but you never know, and we have been surprised before. Our next matchup is the winner of the second match, the Swordcaster, versus our winner of the third match, the Pumpkin Thrower. Will the Swordcaster be able to survive enough volleys from the Pumpkin Thrower in order to secure his victory? That is the big question here. Now, we did miss with the first volley. I don't know if he took any damage from that, but the moment he starts shooting those swords at the launcher, it's game over. It is toast. That is now 2 volleys the catapult has managed to get off, but it was not enough, and the Swordcaster moves on to the next round. The final matchup, Swordcaster versus the Reaper. Will the range of the Swordcaster be enough to keep the Reaper at bay and potentially secure himself a spot in the finals and the top dog for the Spooky faction? It looks like he is doing a good job at least slowing down the Reaper, but the Reaper is still able to get one of those tentacles in and take out the Swordcaster. Reaper is big. There you have it, our final matchups for the Spooky faction, with the Reaper securing his spot in the finals. But what about this new Wild West faction? We've got our matchups all ready for the Wild West faction, and let's see who will emerge victorious and take the win for the Wild West. Our first matchup for the Wild West faction bracket starts us off with our number 4 seed, the Gunslinger, starting off with 650 points, versus our number 5 seed and arguably one of my personal favorite units, the Cactus unit, coming in at 400 points. who will emerge victorious. Now, the gunslinger does have some AoE as he shoots his rounds into the sky and they drop down. Now, the cactus unit also has additional armor with that cactus unit, and if he can get close enough, might be able to shoot off enough of his cactus bolts, but that is not the case. The AoE of the gunslinger in 1v1 action is just too powerful for the cactus unit, and the gunslinger moves on. Our next matchup comes with our number 2 seed, the Deadeye, coming in at 900 points, versus our number 7 seed, the Dynamite Thrower, coming in at 120 points. Will they be explosive enough to take down the Deadeye before they get shot? Now, the Deadeye is moving in, and as soon as we see that targeting reticle painted on it, there we go. It is just about all over, but the Deadeye misses. The Dynamite Thrower is getting in close enough to potentially do damage, but the Deadeye still had enough time to recover and put an accurate shot on. Deadeye moves on to the next matches. Our third matchup starts us off with our number 3 seed, the Lasso unit, coming in at 850 points, versus our number 6 seed for this bracket, the Miner, coming in at only 200 points. Will he be able to get close enough to do damage, or will the Lasso just drag him off the map? Now, the Lasso unit has got the speed, it's got the range, but if it misses, the Miner may stand a chance. Now, the Miner has gotten in close. The Miner is able to do some damage here, but the horse just runs over it. See, the horse is also a big factor here. Lasso unit moves on. Our next matchup is in true Wild West faction, with our first one being the winner of the first match, the Gunslinger, versus our number 1 seed for the Wild West faction bracket, the Quick Draw, coming in at 1,200 points. Who's going to be the quickest gun in the West? Now, these are both ranged units with pistols. Will the Quick Draw be able to get off shots quick enough before the AoE of the Gunslinger is able to take effect as it rains down on top of his head? It looks like the Gunslinger is still the quickest draw in the West. Will he be able to make it all the way through the final matchup? We'll find out. Our next matchup is the winner of the second match, the Deadeye, versus the winner of our third match, the Lasso. Will the Deadeye be able to take down the Lasso unit before he can reach her and toss her around? Alright, here we go. The horse is moving in quick. The Deadeye is going to have to act really fast. The horse is down. It is just the Lasso unit himself. He's able to pull her in before she's able to get off a second shot and secures himself a victory, moving into the final matchup. Now that is something I did not expect. Our final matchup, Gunslinger versus Lasso unit. Who's going to wind up taking it to be the ultimate unit for the Wild West faction? Oh my god, in a major upset, it's the Lasso unit because of the horse. The horse played a big part in all of this. He was able to get out of the way of the AoE ability of the Gunslinger before taking any damage. This is huge. How many of you thought that was going to happen? There we have it, our final matchups for the Wild West faction bracket, with surprisingly the Lasso coming in to be the best in 1v1 and taking it to the finals to represent the Wild West faction. Along with the Reaper from the Spooky faction, we now have 2 more entries into the finals. Make sure you tune in for the next episode so you don't miss anything, or we take on the first half of the Secret Unit faction bracket. Simply because there's so many of them, we're going to have to break that one out a little bit.